Welcome back.
Yep. Okay, today
You're
we're talking about green recycling as well as paper green in particular. So let's introduce our guest.
Yes, welcome back to the Green Man or Mr. Hijau, Matthias Gelber, who is a LOHAS country manager, and also next to him this morning we have Azrina Azizan, who is the Managing Director of Paper Green Malaysia. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming.
as well.
Okay, let's start with the Green Man. Tell us about why you decided to bring this topic this week.
Yep.
I think we need always to look for green solutions that are easy for everyone to access and to implement. Because sometimes people think, you know, green is too complicated, green is too expensive, I cannot do it, let the government change the legislation first. But I always tell people it starts with me, and this product is great because everybody needs paper. Obviously, the first environmental choice would be to reduce your paper consumption as much as possible, because from an environmental point of view, less is more. And Azrina, I know her for quite a while already, and she has just started her business to distribute this 100% recycled paper in Malaysia. And I think that's a great development. And I don't know whether she's going to talk about prices as well, but it's actually very cost competitive. It makes a green solution accessible to anyone, especially large companies that have a huge consumption. So that's why I thought it would be great to bring her in.
Okay, well, Azrina, what made you decide, you know, being the managing director of Paper Green Malaysia, to establish or to start a business with selling this recycled paper?
Okay, actually, I was looking around because looking around what is the best solutions and the easiest. Knowing our culture, it's very hard for us to adopt. Unlike on the Europe side, where it's easy, the awareness, it's very easy for them, you know, to understand. But I was thinking, what is the easiest way for the Malaysian especially to just have an alternative to just replace what they're doing, and then very effortlessly. You don't feel it, you know, you just change it, that's all. And then plus, since the technology has evolved, it used to be very beige color, you know, like layerish, creamy color of paper, but it's, you know, as you can see, it is actually close to white. So, you know, so it's so amazing. So when I stumbled upon the product on the net, I quickly asked for samples, and it is from Indonesia. So it's amazingly, can you have that normal
normal white
papers?
paper, yes.
It's hardly.
Well, it's actually the same though.
You see, so it is usually it used to be very yellowish, and people it's like very hard to accept, and it's not very professional like.
It looks very worn.
Exactly. So now you can't really tell the difference. So why not? Because you have been using Malaysia itself by research up to 2010. It's 1.2 million tons. You know how much of matured trees you can save with that. 1 ton is 17 matured trees, and we are consuming 1.2 million tons.
Wow.
So
it's like
do the maths.
So I used to be good in maths, but I think my memory has gone a little bit.
Okay. Now, how do you come up with a paper? I believe it's a different process than how other people would come up with recycled paper. How do you get that white color?
We call it de-inking process. De-inking, by meaning you taking out the ink. The normal one, we call it virgin pulp. Okay, this is recycled pulp. So the process is we collected from the high-grade paper, only the high-grade paper of white paper. It was collected to France, Europe, and Japan. The papers are from the
used papers that has inks.
Used white paper.
Okay.
And then all collected, and then to the mill, and then from that mill they created a pulp by reheating it, and then 3 steps by separating the particles, the big particles, and then down to the smallest one, 3 particles, and then deoxidize it, and it is chlorine free. Other papers, yes. Sometimes when you do recycling paper, sometimes they use chlorine because some of the ink are very hard to take out. So the easiest way is for you to use chlorine. But EXCELPRO, it's chlorine free.
Right.
So it is more less carbon footprint and whatnot.
Right. That's good, because using chlorine will also affect the
Exactly.
environment.
Exactly.
Actually, a very funny story on that. When I first came to Malaysia, I was looking for, believe it or not, recycled toilet paper. And I couldn't find it anywhere, but I didn't give up. I was asking the store manager, do you have it? He said, oh, don't tell anyone. But our very cheap, high volume economy toilet paper is recycled, but we don't tell anyone because people might not be so keen to buy it. So actually sometimes you find recycled content even different from virgin pulp, because normally that kind of paper would be made from virgin pulp. There a lot of recycled paper was going in there, but nobody was being told because it was perceived as not so high quality. But I was very keen when I found it because I wanted to use it.
Okay.
This is 80%, 80 gram. We only packed it 80 gram, which is the heaviest paper. They have 70 and 75. We only have 80 gram, and it's 500 per pack. Per ring.
Okay. Now, not to be specific on the prices, but on the matter of money, maybe you can take this.
Yes. How economical is it?
Is it commercially viable for us to enter a green business?
Well, it is very competitive. I would say, depending on the volume of the ordering, it could come down to 11 ring per ream.
Okay.
What's your take on that?
Actually, when I walked into a normal store the other day, like the cheap white paper, on a retail level there cost 13 ringgit a ream. So that actually means nowadays it is affordable for people.
Exactly.
And one thing that I've told one of my customers that I work with, Green City College, who offers green education, green diplomas, I've already convinced them to make a commitment to go 100% with this paper. So they've already said, yes, we're gonna switch to 100% recycled paper because I wanted them to really show that their educational green commitment is backed up with a lot of operational greening of the operations commitment.
It's green all around.
Yes.
And Rina, you're set for life.
So they're actually happy with the price. One other thing that I've told people, one of the strategies that everybody should adopt is reduction of electricity consumption, water consumption, and paper consumption. So with the shift to this, I'm sure Azrina can give them advice on how they can reduce paper consumption. So the total cost per year by shifting to green and focusing on less consumption could be lower. And hence you could even save more money than compared with before, because you can link this with an awareness campaign of let's use less and let's save paper.
I give you one tip here, probably not all of us, even the viewers out there know. When you buy the normal ream of paper and then you recycle back, and we understand, okay, fine, you recycled it back, but the wrapper of the
it's usually high glossy.
Yes,
paper.
exactly. So it is not considered as paper. So when at the land mill, they will separate it. So it is not recyclable along the other paper. But our paper down to the box is recyclable under paper.
Down to the box.
Yes. So it is recyclable. It's recycled paper, recycled paper box. So it can be used again and again. So I know some people, they were like, oh, I want to print, but I want to save the earth or whatnot. But using this paper, print. By all means.
Now, no, you go first.
Well, aside from being part of the Green City College, right? You saying? Yeah, this is the college. They say.
They made a commitment already that they will go with this paper.
Where else are you planning to market this?
Okay, I have a meeting this evening with Malacca State.
So
they, because as we all know that Malacca State has become a green state right now.
Yes.
So they called me up. They were surprised when I sent them samples of our paper. They was like, ini putih, you know, like ini white ni. Are you sure it's recycled? I was like, yeah. Okay, I give you you just refer to the pamphlets, and it's okay, there's pamphlets, so they referred it. So they're like, they expected something yellowish because to show that they're actually different, but this is even better. So I said, look, you can use it for professional, probably, you know, to communication outside the state, and probably also internal. So they are very keen on our paper. So yeah, I hope we can work together.
Well, that's good news. We hope to hear more from
No
the follow-up there.
No problem.
Question?
Now, based on some of the information that you sent us beforehand, I understand that some people are quite reluctant to use recycled paper. Why is that?
Because first of all, they'll be very skeptical about the color. They'll be like, the color, it's a bit, they say it is not like the high grade virgin
White
pulp,
color,
which is that they want it white inside. But I was thinking, have you tried to print our paper on the on our normal printer? So the color, actually, it was exactly the quality as you put it on the high grade paper. So, and then another thing is when they're talking like, recycled paper should be cheaper because they're already used. So the price like, you should go lower than that. You know, people like, because it's recycled, it should be lower. But the process, right? The process of getting it to become, like, for example, the T-shirt that he's wearing from paper from bottles, right? So
100% recycled.
So it's bottles, water bottles down to this T-shirt. So just imagine the transition of the physical product. So it is not easy actually for de-inking. But the most important thing of these innovations is to not destroy the earth.
Right.
That's the main thing you have to.
And Matthias, you know, aside from discovering Azrina, are you still on the lookout to discover more, you know, potential green businesses to be introduced in Malaysia?
Sure. I mean, actually, if you're a green company that has a great product, we've already talked with some people, and we're going to bring in a green company every week because the awareness needs to be raised that all these amazing solutions are out there and people can actually contribute. So get in touch with us. Definitely, we might be able to bring you in. So that would be great. And I personally, I'm very passionate about wanting to see green businesses succeed because as an entrepreneur myself, I know it's very tough to educate the marketplace. If you have a lot of people buying from you already and you come in with a competitive product, no problem. But here, Azrina has to educate the marketplace, knock on people's doors, you know, there's a lot of, green, people perceive green being a lot more expensive and green being inconvenient. Like you said, it must be brown or something like that. I personally, my business cards are made from palm fiber waste, they are brown, I'm happy with that, I have no problem with that, but for some, you need it to look very, very white. So we need to destroy this myth that green is always more expensive or inconvenient. That's why I'm keen to have as many people talk about their great innovations as possible.
Okay. So, Azrina, now you mentioned about the T-shirt that's made out of bottles. So, recycling is not just about paper. So, why did you start with paper, and do you plan to expand into anything else?
Oh, yeah.
T-shirts.
Well, I'm actually focusing on...
Get you one.
Well, I'm actually focusing on stationery products because, well, I see what is the biggest consumption, Malaysian biggest consumption. First of all is paper. So next I have in line is kilometrical paper pen. They already approached me, and they have 80%. At the moment, they have 80% recycled, except the ink. The body of the pen, everything is recycled.
Right.
So I'm going to focus only on the recyclable stationery products. So, and then it's going to be the first in Malaysia who has actually only focus on recycled stationery. So any companies, or they want to do, you know, administration with 100% green, so they can sleep well while communicating with me.
Well, you can see there on the screen Paper Green's contact details. Okay, you can contact
Yes.
Azrina, or the company as well.
Yes, if you want to get in touch with Paper Green or Azrina, or if you didn't manage to get that done, I guess you can always contact the Green Man. And you'll be back next week with more for us, I believe.
Sure. We'll be back next week, and I'm actually thinking of launching a little contest. I'll discuss that with you because I saw there was some interesting. Let's see. I might have some other little gift which fits into this. This is actually as well an office product. It's not really recycled, but it's actually a stapler that doesn't require the metal pieces. It's quite fascinating. It doesn't work with very thick and many papers, but if you have 3 or 4 papers, it does a beautiful job. And I've shown this to a couple of my friends, and they were really kind of amazed. You know, it kind of basically clips the paper over, and that way
it clips the paper to itself.
So no need for metal pieces that might be more difficult later on in recycling. But what happened on your Facebook page, the official Facebook page of the on Hello on 2, I had a discussion with people about, you know, what was the most memorable thing about last week's session that you could actually implement at home. And there was a family there that said, hey, I've you know, chatted with my kids. We've picked up your idea on reducing the electricity bill, and we've set targets already, and the kids are going to get a reward. And we like the fact that this can be a fun project for the family. So I think I'm thinking about how we can turn that into a competition and really get people out there to share how they are reducing their electricity bill, saving money, and helping the planet at the same time.
Yeah, well guys, all the more reason for you to join Hello On 2's Facebook, so be sure to log on to facebook.com/helloon2. Thank you so much for the program.
Okay, if you have anything to say to us, go ahead to our Facebook page and give your questions maybe for next week for a Green Man. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you, Azrina.
Yes, thank you, Azrina. We hope to hear more from you soon.
Yes.
Take care. Okay, we are moving on to our next hotshot segment, talking about Project Disco Baldi in Love.
Why a project? Why disco? Why
in
Baldi?
love?
We'll be back after this. Let's take it.